Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are watching us from. Please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, subscribe. Click also on the bell icon to get our updates anytime it drops. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more updates. US-based Nigerian man whose father was kidnapped in Imo State reveals the language of the kidnapper spoke, and this will amaze you. It's common for us to say, he spoke this, we are, that common, he spoke Fulani. But, according to a news that was published on the Punch newspaper online, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, he's a master's student, he's based in the United States of America, and an indigenous of Olo local government, that is Imo State. And Chimezie Adioha, he narrated how his father was kidnapped in the month of July. This happened in July and we are in August. And also revealed the language of the kidnappers. The language they spoke. While he was talking, he said, on the 20th of July, 2022, the government came to his father's house. This one's, it's like nobody on the street. They didn't see people on the street again to kidnap. They go searching house by house because people have known places to avoid. So they are going house by house. So they went to their house, looked for him and found him. And while the kidnappers were talking to them, they said it was the third time they were looking for his father until they found him on that day. Can you imagine? They know him. And the kidnappers said if they did not see him the third time, then they would take his mother, the mother of this particular person. Why he continued. And Adioha continued the story. He said, after his father was taken away, the kidnappers reached out to them on WhatsApp. Can you see their advancement on WhatsApp the second day? And they were using pure Igbo language to communicate to them until they paid the ransom they demanded for, and they released his father. They spoke Igbo language. It's just these people. Most of what happens to people sometimes are caused by people around. And don't be surprised, people who give out information could be part of the Omunna. That is how it is. It is so sad. This is very unheard of us. It is becoming rampant these days. We know people who have been doing this, and we are working on eradicating the nonsense. And why will our people get involved? Why? Everything has been turned to business, and it has gotten to an extent that if you don't see the person on the street, because normally we know kidnapping is done on the street, that this kidnapping for ransom. If you don't see the person, you come to, now it has gotten to coming to the person's house. Anyway, I want to get to the next story. We want to talk about Nollywood now. And Nigerian veteran actor Fabian Adibe. Hey, as you can see, things are no longer easy. He said things are no longer the way they are. And these days that actors receive 50,000, not like before that some were receiving 500, 400. Now these days anything they give you manage, and some are finding it hard to even get. And I see something like that. They are formed cliques. And these people have their group, because you see a particular movie submitted to GoTV or DSTV, you see certain people featuring movie after movie. I think they have cliques. Well, that is their money. I will not blame whoever, but I think based on what this actor is saying, nepotism has crept in, tribalism, according to Fabian Adibe, and it's true. According to him, things were easier in the past. They were acting together irrespective of where they come from. And based on this report, he said his wife was sacked from work in Enugu because she's not from the States, even though she's an Igbo woman who was also married to a man that was born in Imo. He said that such a thing would not happen back then because tribalism did not have a place in Nigeria then. Well, let's even talk about this. This is beyond tribalism. This is somebody from your tribe now. I'm sorry to also say something. I need to say, talk about my displeasure too. Before I continue this story, I went to Peace Mass Transit the other day in one of their, should I say terminal or bus park. I wanted to travel to a particular place, and they told me the price, and I was like, they buy Igbo, fellow Igbo, and they buy this thing is too much. We are the same people. You know what they told me? The reply. They said, this is not about Igbo. That they don't care about what is Igbo, that I should have a commodity, get out of here. What is Igbo? That they are not talking about Igbo here, that they are talking about Nsukka. That Nsukka is what they are talking about. What I should get out with my Igbo. Can you imagine what a fellow Igbo man is telling another Igbo man? So it's not, in this case too, it's not about tribalism, because both of you are from the same tribe. You speak the same language, although with variations. You are from Enugu, the other person is from, you are from Imo, the other person is from Enugu. And this is the problem we have been having. So according to this actor, he said his wife was sacked in 1997 because she was a non-indigenous in Enugu, despite being an Igbo woman from Abia State, married to an Imo State-born man. Back in our days, he said this wouldn't have happened. Anyway, let me leave this story and get to Obodo Igbo and come back. Something happened. Something has happened. Air France suspend 2 pilots over. They were fighting in the cockpit. I hope the plane is not even flying while they are doing this. Imagine if the plane is flying. Sorry for the non email. Only busy. So, according to the report, Air France has suspended 2 of its pilots for physically fighting in the cockpit during Geneva-Paris flight in June. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Imagine. And anyway, we thank God though. And then on email, just like I said, we would have said our father. They said the plane landed safely. According to a report by one La Tribune, a Swiss newspaper, said the pilot and the co-pilot had squabble shortly after takeoff. Imagine, immediately they took off. They don't even, are these guys planning to take those in the plane to their destination? They grab each other by the collars. Can you imagine people who are flying? Imagine how the number of people in the flight. They grab each other by the collar. Nime plane. Hey, I hope. Anyway, I think there are every flight has recording. I think it was traced from the recording of that flight. Imagine the passengers knew what was happening. Hey, Angel Kai and I also because I have Angel didn't even name. Hey, they were holding themselves by the collar and one hit the other. Okay, the cabin crew was aware and they intervened. They separated the 2 pilots from. And while the plane was still flying, these guys spent time in the cockpit. So that, because of stories that touch. Anyway, let me read the news further for us. They said the fight would, however, be made known to the public after France Air Investigation Agency, BEA, released a report on Wednesday, pointing out that some Air France pilots disregarded safety protocols. Can you imagine? Said the report concentrated on a fuel leak on an Air France flight from Brazzaville to Paris in December 2020, when pilots rerouted the plane but did not cut power to the engine or land as soon as possible. as the procedure requires. The major thing about this story is that it landed safely, and not be this one way then they talk. How not landed safely? This one way it will be more than suspension. What they will get is more than suspension. Can you imagine toying with the lives of more than 200 passengers? I hope this is not always the case. So anyway, this is where we round up on this show. Add your comment, tell us what you think about our stories. Bye bye for now.